Hi guys, this is an update Blu-ray Pastels video. Before, I've only shot things in my cupboard, so you haven't seen the full layout, and neither have I, actually. So this is kind of surprising to see how many pieces I have here. I was going to count, but that seems a little crazy. So, a little history about Blu-ray Pastels. It was made by the Taylor Smith and Taylor Company. It was their most popular line of dinnerware, first introduced in the summer of 1938 and discontinued in 1961. So that is 21 and 24-year run. The initial offering consisted of 4 colors. So we've got the Persian Cream, which is the yellow, the Sharon Pink, which is the pink, Windsor Blue, and Surf Green. Now let's see, there's a plate in Surf Green and a creamer in Surf Green. In the late 1940s and early 1950s, a 5th color was added. And I only have one couple pieces in that, and that's these salt and pepper shakers in the Chatham Gray. And you can see, compared to blue, it's definitely grayer. Okay, that wasn't a very popular color, so they discontinued it pretty quickly, so it's difficult to find. It's usually higher priced as a result of that. So let's see, what do we have? We'll start with bowls. So these are serving bowls, round serving bowls. I've got 2 of those, and these are oval serving bowls. I have 2 of those. These there are resume here. So we've got a couple of different bowls. These are what I would call I think they're just a soup bowl, or a coupe cereal bowl, I suppose. This is a lug bowl. As you can see, it's got handles. And then we've got teacups and saucers, and they're all mix and matchable. You could have like a blue, whoops, that's an egg cup, with a pink, or a pink with a blue. I mean, everything mixes and matches, so that's one of the great things. It all works together here. So I've got a lot of saucers. I don't have many teacups, and I've got no coffee cups, although I do believe that they made coffee cups as well. Plates. I've got this whole collection of pink, the Sharon Pink, and these are the, I'm sorry, I'm going to keep referring to notes here. The plates came in some different sizes, and if I can just find my cheat sheet, it has whatever. Looks like the plates came in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sizes. So we've got these, which are probably a dessert plate or bread and butter, I suppose, but I've got a whole, I don't know, dozen or so in the pink. I've got these, which are a larger plate, bread and butter, salad plate perhaps, the teacup and saucer plates, the luncheon plates, and then the dinner plates. I prefer the luncheon plates myself. They also made a grill plate, which is a divided plate. Now these, pull out the handy tape measure. The luncheons, or what I call luncheon plates, are like 9 inches, and it's hard to be your own cameraman sometimes. Yeah, just over 9 inches. Whereas the dinner plates are 10 inches. And I only have 3 of those, and one of them is well loved and got some chips on it. As I've said before in my other videos, I grew up using these dishes. My mom had them when I was a kid, So we use them like regular everyday dishware. And they've held up surprisingly well since some of them go back to the 1940s. It's pretty amazing that some of them are 80, 70, 60, 50 years old. We've got 5 salt and pepper shakers in various colors. We've got a sugar bowl in the Windsor blue, which is a fairly recent acquisition. We've got 2 creamers, one in the surf green, and one that I found recently at a Goodwill or a Savers in the Sharon pink. We've got 2 teapots, one in the Persian cream, which has a giant crack in the lid. It came that way. I repaired it, held on to it, and I did actually get a replacement lid. So that kind of mixes and matches if I want to use a lid that's not cracked. And then I've got one in the Sharon pink. They also made a coffee pot, which is next to impossible to find. This is a little bowl, part of the mixing bowl set, the smallest size, and I used to use this as my favorite cereal bowl as a kid, and it's still a go-to. It's got a crack in it, but it's held up really well for all of these years. At some point, I'm going to try to find some more of the bowls. I've got 2 of this size mixing bowl, one that I grew up with, and this is a more recent acquisition in the Sharon pink. Recently I found this decaled advertising platter, which was given away by the G.D. Doohan Furniture Company in Port Arthur, Texas, probably with the purchase of maybe a kitchen table or something. And yeah, it's a really pretty decal on there. Looks like pine cones, and I'm not really sure, but it's definitely evocative of the 1950s. And the plate on the back stamp says it's from '54. So that's the cool thing about Luray, is you can tell how old it is by right there. See that piece, TS&T, Taylor Smith and Taylor, Luray Pastels, and then it has the number, and then that 1040 means this particular plate was produced in October of 1940. That is kind of worn off. Let's find something else that we can read. This is from, looks like November of 42, or 43 actually. Oh, okay, so back to our collection here. I've got also a spare sugar lid for anybody who's missing one, and again, we can mix and match. We can have a combination of blue and yellow if we want, with a blue lid on the yellow teapot and a yellow lid on the blue sugar bowl. And now I've confused myself. Oh, and then I've got 2 double egg cups. So you would crack your egg on that side, and then put it in that side to add your salt and pepper and butter or whatever you want to put it in, and eat it out of that side. Now, something else. Oh, okay. We've got a gravy boat which has an attached underplate, has a big old crack in it. There's one for sale locally, the exact same color, that I might pick up at some point to replace it. And then we've got the 2 oval platters in the different sizes. They also made various other things. They made demitasse cups, a demitasse set. They made, let's see, coffee mugs. They made some vases. They made some nut dishes and ashtrays. Again, they made the divided grill dishes. They made a pitcher and some cups and water pitchers. So I've got a pretty good collection going here, I would say. Now, something I want to point out to you, which is really interesting. You might see this. I'm going to put it over here so you can see it in the light. You might see this in a store and think, aha, I have found myself a Luray cup and saucer. But look at the difference in the Luray cup and saucer and this cup and saucer. First of all, the handles are completely different. Second of all, this is kind of the Luray one. The blue one is kind of fluted. This is rounder. The handles are different. The top on this one is much wider. And then when you get to the saucer, which is in the Chatham Gray, it's square, not round. And you know why? Although the colors are identical. Okay, so here's this yellow, and then this yellow. Can't tell them apart, right? Well, it's because both patterns were made by Taylor Smith and Taylor. However, this was a somewhat later pattern, try to modernize the Luray look a little bit by changing it up, and this pattern is called Conversation. So it's also made by Taylor Smith and Taylor. It's a little bit newer than the Luray, but it all matches and mixes perfectly together. So I wouldn't hesitate to set a table with both patterns. So there you have it. Luray is all clearly marked on the bottom, and you can also check it out online if you have any questions about whether your piece is original or not. So I would love, in my search, to find the elusive lidded butter dish, which is kind of one of the things I'd always like to find. I can get one online. They're crazy expensive. I'd rather kind of find one on my own. And what else? I don't know. I'm pretty happy with my collection here. I'm going to want to maybe get some of the some replacements on these dinner plates, since I've only got 3 and one of them seriously nicked. Replace the gravy boat perhaps, and look to get some more of the mixing bowls. But this sets a beautiful table, as you can imagine. Imagine this for Easter, how pretty this would look, or any time of the year. It's really evocative of the period, the 1940s, 1950s, and the beginning of the 1960s. So I hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned a little bit of something about Luray, and look for it when you're out and about. It's really difficult to find. I rarely see it. Like I said, you know, sometimes I'll find some in some like high-end consignment shop, where I'll pay top dollar. You can find it online, pay good price for it. Back in the day, back in the 70s and 80s, I was able to pick this up kind of everywhere. Now, not so much. So I guess people are holding onto their collections and not disposing of them. But if you do find it, I'd grab it. It makes a nice collection. It's really pretty, stands out. And for those of you who like something a little bit softer than the vibrant colors of Fiesta ware, this should serve your needs. Until next time, enjoy, and look for Luray, and leave a comment, like and subscribe, and tell me about your collections. Peace out. Talk to you later.